Well, hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and I am your cruise director on the Magical Mystery Tour. I've got a lot going on my eyes at the moment. I did film this look, it is coming up in something it's quite soon, hopefully. I'm looking really intense, aren't I? But first up, what are we doing today? You'll notice the rest of my face is pretty much a blank canvas at the moment because we are going to talk contours versus bronzers. But first up, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell to be alerted to any new uploads. And if you like this video at the end, please give it a big thumbs up. So let's get to it. So I see a lot of people asking questions around contour versus bronzer. Do we need both? Can I use one, not the other? What's the placement for and that? So that's what today's going to do. So we'll start with contour is designed to sculpt your face and create definition, whereas bronzer creates a bit of warmth to your face and brings back that roundness to it. So the differences between them, I've got a couple of different products and we're going to do placement of one side for contour, one side for bronzer. Contours essentially are more of a grey base. Now I'm going to use, I think this is Biscuit. I'm going to use the Westman Atelier on my arm, well on my hand, because I've discovered that that's a better way to do it for how much light bounces off. As you can see, this looks cool tone. It's more grey based, yeah? Which means it will create shadow. Now this is the Rare Beauty and you can see that that is warmer. Now what I've got here is another Savvy product. This is Wet n Wild Contour. Let's have a look at the issue with this. This is warmer than both of them. This is not a contour. This is a bronzer. So when you are picking up a bronzer or a contour, don't necessarily believe what is written on the stick. There are a lot of sticks and powders even that are listed as a contour product. If they're warm, they're not a contour, they are a bronzer. It's got to be a bit of a grey base, cool tone base to it. I've got some powder products here as well. One of the best, if not the best, powder contour on the market, Kevin Aucoin, which one's this? This is volume 2, the Sculpting and Defining palette, because we've got 3 contour shades in there, ignoring that. So if powder is your preference, I cannot recommend that enough. And it's the same thing, if it is cooler toned, it is a contour. If it is warmer toned, it is a bronzer. That being said, you can get neutral ones. That'll be a bronzer for you. Okay, so when using a contour, I'm not going to go for all the trends right now. Let's keep it really simple and basic. We're not going to go, let's lift it up, let's put a contour up here. We're going to use our bone structure just to keep it really, really simple, because that's what you should follow, ignoring all the TikTok trends. So we're going to sculpt out our face. So we use a contour around the perimeter of the hairline, yeah, and then find your cheekbone. Like, you can suck it in. You need to find your cheekbone to sculpt it out, right? So my cheekbone's there, and you can see I'm lucky in that it's throwing shade already. You can see the shade. That is natural because I've got quite defined cheekbones in any case. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can bring it down and up and follow that line, or you can see here, this naturally curves down there. So I'm just going to do a slight little bit of both in this instance. Then sculpt along your jawline and down, and we use it to sculpt out our nose as well, to shorten our nose, and down the side, just under our lip. So these are all areas that we're creating shadow in. Okay, now with a cream, I'm not particularly partial to this bronzer, but I'm going to use it. Okay, so with this, what we do with a bronzer is it's used to warm up our complexion and to create a natural glow shining through, essentially. So we tend to bring it a bit more here. It goes everywhere where the sun would hit. Then more midway. So here's where we're sculpting along here. And then we come up a bit higher for bronzer, because that's where the sun would hit. And it would hit the tip of our nose. And lastly, a little bit on our chin. Actually, I should have gone on that side and kept it all on that side. It's a bit late now, hey? So you can see the difference in placement. So here we're sculpting, creating shadow to sculpt out our features. And then on this side, we're warming up where the sun would hit. Now I've got two brushes the same to do this, just I should probably use a smaller brush on this, but we're not going to. We're just going to see how we go. Actually, we might need to swap just on our nose. So just stamping that in. I like to use stamping motions because it will disperse the product without displacing anything underneath. You can be a bit draggy out here. Bring it down here, it'll help sculpt out your neck. And if you have no jawline like me, this will help create, look at that, that's already done that there. Now I'm going to move to a slightly smaller brush now, just on this area. I'm going to pinch it because I want to keep stamping. You can see that's already sharpened up that side of my nose. And using that there to create a bit of fullness under our lip. Now where we've sculpted out here, that was nearly awkward. Again, I'm going to pinch this because it is not as firm as what I would like. And I don't want to disperse this too far out. I want to just soften it, but keep it pretty much where it is. So and because I put that underneath, like I laid it underneath my cheekbone, I can push it up as opposed to dragging down. And look at that shadow that's created. Look at that cheekbone. Now, we're on to creating some dimension here on this with bronzer. So again, stamping that where the sun would hit. On the nose, we haven't defined our jaw here. And again, stamping that. Now a lot of people don't necessarily use blush when they've used bronzer. They find that bronzer can be enough. It's entirely up to you. You can use both. I do. I've got to work this a little bit harder because it's been sitting there for a while. And just stamping that in. Now let's have a look at this. Okay, so let's have a look at them now, side by side, and you can see we've got that real sculpty, we're chiselled out on this side. It's not quite as defined here. I don't know why I'm doing that to draw your attention to it. But you can see we've got a lot more sharpness and sculpting happening to our face on this side, but we've got a lot of warmth happening on this side. So you can do one or the other. You don't have to do both. A lot of people will have a preference for sculpting out their face, whilst most people will choose bronzer over contour. Again, You can choose one or the other or both. So now that we've done both of them, like look at the difference, even just in, particularly my cheeks. This looks nice and full here and healthy. And yeah, this has really carved it out. But again, it's really made my cheeks defined. I love both. So what I'm going to do now is go in and finish up by balancing the face now and doing the opposite to it. So, okay, so I've now evened up my face, and as you can see, the difference that it does when you do a bit of sculpting and bronzing, like it really brings out your features. I look like one of those little face charts, quite frankly, at the moment. You can see that now all the bronzer around here has really warmed that up, given me a real sun-kissed look. It's now highlighted this because this is the area that I have left. This I've got like a 5 head. The contour around the edge really sculpts out my face. I've got a jawline now. Didn't have that. So that is a really quick, simple, easy way to do contour versus bronzer. I'm not sure what you do. If you do any, if you do both, let me know in the comment section below. And if there's something else like this that you want to see, please absolutely sound off down there. But in the meantime, you know the drill. Tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your friends to come along and subscribe to the channel. Hang out, tell me a bit about yourself. Until next time, bye.